Hey everybody, it's Joe Robert. Please come check me out and heckle me at onewinedude.com or on Twitter at onewinedude.
Thank you for listening to iWine Radio. I'm Lynn Creelo Chamberlain.
Welcome to Wine and Dine.
Wine blogger Joe Roberts is one wine dude who focuses on serious wine talk, but for the not-so-serious drinker, which is really the majority of us out there, isn't it? Joe Roberts is a certified specialist of wine with the Society of Wine Educators. He holds the Level 2 Intermediate with Distinction and Level 3 Advanced with Merit certificates in wine and spirits from the Wine and Spirit Education Trust in England. And he also is a wine location specialist. So am I. One Wine Dude blog site is immensely popular and followed. And right now, he is touted as one of the leading voices on the internet regarding wine. He also provides Playboy.com with wine articles and wine reviews. And he's talking to us from Philadelphia. Joe, we thank you so very much for your time.
Hey, thanks, Lynn. Thanks for having me.
So how did this all start with you? When did your interest in wine start, or when did you become a blogger?
Well, the interest in wine was, I think I was just the regular arrogant yuppie, whatever, where we had too much money and, needed to blow it on something.
Okay.
Yeah. And I had brewed beer and loved beer and never really kind of understood wine. So I jumped into that, and then my wife was like, wow, you're spending a lot of money on wine. Maybe you should get some certifications or something and make some money out of that. So it's kind of her fault because, I went off the deep end after that and kind of started the blog as an adjunct to what I had hoped would be a consulting gig, a wine consulting gig with a friend of mine. And we didn't have time. We ended up not having time for that stuff, but the blog, for reasons I still don't understand, became popular. And now I'm stuck with it. Get rid of that thing.
What were you doing then before you started studying wine? What did you study in college? What was your work before this?
So I was in IT for a long time. I left the corporate world the end of 2011, I think, just to do freelance wine writing, media essentially. And I had studied IT and also English Lit in undergrad.
Wow, what a combination.
Right, it was kind of weird. That was the first one at St. Joe's in Philly. As far as I'm aware, I was the first person to graduate with that bizarre combo of double major.
So were you a writer in high school?
Yeah, I've always loved writing. So luckily, it came more or less naturally to me in a way. What I mean is, I guess I got the concepts relatively easily. Was able to kind of put decent sentences together relatively easily. And my mother was a secretary for a law firm for a very long time. And she would kind of mercilessly, take the red pen to my papers and things. So all of that, you kind of factor all that together. And I found it fun. I mean, some people are great at math. I'm not. It's just one of those things where the natural predilection kind of led me on that path. And I always loved it. In fact, when I play music as well. When I was doing music, I still do it, but when I was a little more, I want to say freelance with music and occasionally, doing work with other bands or studio stuff, I put a website together about me and the music, and I was blogging, quote unquote, on that site before blogging was a term. So that sort of writing voice and that personality, that got crafted over a very long time, which I guess then you could argue I should be a lot better at it than I am, maybe. But
so I'm dying to know, what instrument do you play, or instruments do you play?
Bass guitar mostly, but I play a lot of stuff. I play didgeridoo, if you can believe that.
What is didgeridoo?
It's a log, basically a hollow log from Australia that the Aboriginal people created. It's probably the first musical instrument, next to percussion.
Oh, wow.
The first tone instrument by accident. They're hollowing out logs in fire, like getting like termites out of them, and then one day somebody blew through it and it made a tone, and it became kind of a sacred instrument.
So it sounds like a flute or recorder?
No, it sounds like wow, like that.
Oh,
it's like low resonant.
Yeah.
It's very cool because now we're going to talk dig. Everyone's going to be like, what the heck? I thought this was a wine show. When you play that, since our lung cavities are slightly different, it's almost like a fingerprint.
Okay.
The tone of that dig will sound a little tiny bit different with every person that plays it. So you like automatically have something a tiny bit unique when you play it, which is really cool.
You have to email me. You have to email me a link so that I can link to it with your, playing the bass guitar
cool, yeah.
and this instrument.
Will do. SteveLiberace.com. That's the guy I play for, singer-songwriter, and that's where you can check all this out. And he has a couple songs about wine, believe it or not, that I didn't even know he wrote, until I was in the studio playing bass on them. I said, hey, this song's about wine. What the heck?
Well, probably...
I wasn't consulted.
Yeah, people are drinking a lot of wine when they're writing songs.
Oh, yes. And beer.
And beer.
And drinking a lot of beer when they're making wine.
So talk to us about this Playboy gig that you have.
Well, I would say I had it, so I'm done. My contract's up.
Okay.
And it was a lot of fun. Basically I had a branded column. It's called Wind It Down with Joe Roberts, and they may still publish some more. I mean, they bought several articles from me that haven't been published yet, so they have a bit of a backlog if they want to publish them.
Okay.
So that was cool. I mean, it was such a really awesome experience. I mean, they called me out of the blue, and a couple of years back, and I don't know. I guess I thought it was maybe a prank. and and then I said, well, I figured they wanted one article, and I thought, it's Playboy, I'll gouge them. They must have money. So I think I said, I'll do it for some astronomical sum of money, and then they said, no, that's not what we want. So I was kind of shocked. They wanted they wanted my name on it, and they wanted it to be like a regular column for like a year. Or more, a little bit over a year, which was awesome. Yeah, so that was really cool. And as far as I know, that gig's up unless they call again and they want to go on another contract or whatever. But it was a lot of fun. What was cool about it was I got to be like one wine dude writing voice on steroids. So every little thing that I might write on a blog that I check myself and say, I probably I'm just not going to say that, or that's a little too ribald.
Right.
It was like Anchorman, where nobody was in the writing sessions with those guys to tell them, that joke's gone a little too far. And so the whole movie is those jokes that went too far. And that column was like that for me.
You are
there was
so
nobody
lucky.
to say, hey, we can't do that.
You are so lucky.
That's good.
Because I'm the same way. There are a lot of things that I'd like to say or that occur to me that don't come out my mouth for that exact reason. Wow, that is really cool to have that experience. Yeah,
and at the same time, funnily, I do a bunch of uncredited work for Publix, great magazine in the Bible Belt. So I was writing for Publix and Playboy.com at the same time. So it was like, talk about having your head spinning, like these completely different angles on the same things, on trying to make these topics, some of which can be complicated, and why more accessible. So it was a lot of fun.
Bipolar.
Yeah, suits me well.
So how often do you taste?
I try to taste several times a week if I'm home, which isn't as often as I'd like. And I try to take at least 2 days off a week where I don't even look at alcohol. So you do a lot of traveling then? Yeah, I do. So I tend not to go for the big consumer tastings. I mean, I've done some of those for two reasons. One, it's such a quick hit on the wine that it's really tough to get a good sense of what it's about. But two, I'm small and it's crowded, and I can't get to the spit buckets or right. Or I can't muscle my way through. So I tend to like doing the more curated tours. Or I'm fortunate now I can be in a position where I say, hey, I really like Stony Hill or somebody and I can just call them and say, okay, you like me, I like you. We don't even have to do the song and dance. I just want to visit. Yes. I want to get the story. So I can be on assignment for myself. Yes. With wines that I want to talk about. Yes. And I love that about One Wine Dude. I'm really blessed to be in that scenario right now. And I think hopefully that kind of that passion comes through, because it's easy to take, if you taste thousands and thousands of wine, and you read a lot of content about wine, most of which, let's be honest, it's just as boring as the wines that it talks about, right? Where the writing's a similar style, the wines are kind of whatever, they don't excite your soul. And so it's a lot of fun. Hopefully that passion comes out, because on One Wine Dude, pretty much, if it's on there, then chances are really good that my soul got excited. And I really hope that comes through.
Joe, can people get an RSS feed from you or an email subscription?
Yeah, they can. I'm still like really old school with that. If they go to onewinedude.com, there's buttons for that stuff right at the top.
Okay.
And I don't mess with much of it. It's really easy you can just click it. You can get it with whatever way you want in your browser, in mobile, anything you like.
Okay. Joe Roberts, One Wine Dude, serious wine talk. We thank you so very much for your time this week on Wine and Dine.
Hey, thanks for having me.
That was a blast and a half. Every blogger has such a different voice. We're going to have to ask him back, definitely, especially when we get closer to the holidays. We'll have links up for you to learn more as well, and I can't wait to hear his music. You're listening to Wine and Dine.
You're listening to iWine Radio.